Okay, so this is the very next day of the video that I have just recorded, and the kind of problem that we have here is the fact that the table is already starting to become a mess again. But in this video we're actually going to play around with the computer, because we're going to play around with a toy that Ross Trigemba gave me a while back, and I can't remember if it was a Christmas gift or something. But to me, it doesn't matter on which occasion you gifted someone. It's the fact that you gifted someone. That's what counts to me. Be playing around with a toy that I love way too much. So let's just unplug the Pentium 2 computer. I had posted on the group that I was missing an AT keyboard, and that's absolutely true. But a friend of mine sold me his AT to PS2 adapter so I could use this computer, because otherwise I would not be able to use this computer at all. So, thank you. So, if I can avoid slicing my hands open by grabbing this case. Here we have, again, the Pentium 3 computer that I have built in the past. I think the video is still up by this point. But it's still one of my favorite rigs. I'm not gonna lie. Currently we have an FX 5200 on it. I think that this system would also benefit from having another Voodoo card, but I do not have another Voodoo card. These go quite for a premium. Mine was a huge finding, huge score. Another toy I have for the camera today, which just arrived in the post, is this, a 64GB card. And yes, the Sony HDR does support extreme capacity cards. Okay, so enough rambling. I'm going to test the system as it is. I'm not going to change anything that's installed in here. I like the FX 5200 because it is a great all-rounder for Windows 2000 games. It's not going to run everything perfectly, but no card in this world will run all games perfectly. There's always going to be some kind of compatibility issue or some other kind of issue apart from compatibility that will make my life a bit more difficult. This sound card, I'm gonna have to get another one because I lost the bracket for this one. I think I installed it on my CT4830, which, believe me or not, I am currently using in my main computer, because I tried overclocking my 3930K to 5 GHz once, and I burst the sound chip. I toasted it, fried it, for some godforsaken reason. Okay, boot. So in this computer I actually have an 80GB hard drive. We've got a DVD drive, so now you can see we have the two Pentium 3s, 1 GHz right there. And thankfully it actually tests all 2 GB quickly, because yes, we do have 2 entire gigabytes of RAM installed on this board. So as you can kind of tell, even with 2 Pentium 3s, 2 whole gigabytes of RAM, and an 80GB hard drive, Windows 2000 is still a bit slow to rise. Can we have it? Yeah, we have a slight problem with the sound then. But it works. The main thing is, it works. That's all I'm here for. First game I want to test is the original Half-Life release, which we do have installed. So here on Sierra. No, it's not installed. Okay. So let me grab the CD and we're going to install it. The beauty of having the camera equipment that I'm using right now is the fact that I can record for as long as I want, and all the cuts I need to do are going to be done in post. Sure, the files are going to be massive. I'm going to use way more storage space than I could ever need, but again, it makes my life easier. So I actually forgot the CD inside this Pentium 2 because I was playing Half-Life 1 in this computer. So here we just got a sewing needle and extracted the CD. Of course, I don't have the original thing. I just have I just burned myself a CD for this. So, we're going to reinstall Half-Life. we're actually going to see how long it takes. Oh, it's testing. Did you hear the sound file? Yes, I did. Well, today we have a rainy day. A rainy, gray day. Whoop, I think we got it. So I was determined that there may be updates to your product available. Would you like to say no? I don't want to register, I don't want to update, I don't want anything. Let's just launch Half-Life. Glorious! Okay, so it's installed now. Yes, I want console. So we're gonna go ahead and open up with the console because I want some cheats. I love myself some cheats. Let's just brush over the video setting that we're using. We're using OpenGL at 800 by 600. We are using an NVIDIA FX 5200. And Jesus Christ, I have to open up this power supply and reduce the speed of the fan because this is just a cheapo power supply that I'm using on the system, and the fan just runs 100% power all the time, which is not great. Apart from the fact that I do not have the side panels for this case. But anyway, we're going to test it as it is. So 800 by 600 using OpenGL. Let's see what we get. Oh, okay. Something going wrong with the driver. Plus, this is looking like it's 16-bit. But why are all the entity models missing? I have just reinstalled the game. Yeah, this is bogus. Yeah, even the stuff down here is missing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch modes from OpenGL to Direct 3D using the same resolution, and then we're gonna see how it does. Okay, it works, but it runs like at half of the frame rate that it used to run, which is quite sad. I think that the best card I could use for this would probably be a GeForce 2, or even I could even use an MX 4000. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, and the menu won't work. Okay, good. So I'm gonna turn it off, and we're gonna drop in an MX 4000 and see how it does. So yeah, it happens. From time to time, I have graphics card issues. I do believe I actually did have an issue with the GeForce 2 that I was trying to use on the system. So I think I'm gonna go even slower. So bear with me. Meet my Diamond Media. So this is a Viper V550 SDR. So this is a Riva TNT, an original Riva TNT. I do have a second gen Riva TNT, but it doesn't work as well as I would hope it to work. But this card is actually quite good, as long as you use it for the OG Half-Life and use it on the release version, because the build that I'm used to play is a build from 2005. So I was trying to find an eraser, but let's just drop this in and see if it works as it is without any cleaning to the pins. If it does, it's gonna be fine. I'm not too concerned about things not working at the moment. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I can fix it later. But where is the screw? It disappeared. Fine. So there we go. Let's see if we get anything. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. We have a problem with the graphics card. I'm gonna have to actually find my eraser and clean these pins. So hang on a sec. Got it. So this has been thrown around in my stash of cards for quite a while now, and I wouldn't be too surprised that gunk has built up on these pins or oxidization or something. So we'll just clean it up, put it back into the system. I need a camera operator. Jesus. Let's see if it works now, if I haven't toasted it. Yes, it's there. Kind of. Are you going to display anything? Like... It's, well, it's outputting something. It's outputting a blank signal because probably I toasted the CPU. Because I probably toasted the graphics card by inserting it only halfway because I am an idiot. I do believe I do have a TNT2 M64, but that's painfully slow. And it's really too bad that I couldn't get this one working. Maybe it's just a... You know, maybe it's just grime on the slot and I would have to blow it out. Okay, so here I've got a TNT2 M64. Now, that other card was a 16 meg. This is a 32 meg card, but it's the M64 version. So this is basically the slowest M64 that could ever be produced by NVIDIA. There's no slower than this. So it could be compared to the original TNT. It would be a good idea to clean the pins off of this as well. Okay. Yes, I am cleaning this with my hands because I do not have any ESD on me. If I did, I would notice it by now. So... just to make sure that I am fully slotting in the card this time, as to not toast this GPU as well. Let's see if we get anything. Please. Yes, we do. Fine. So there you go. A Riva TNT2 M64. I'm going to skip the memory check because we already know it's good. Otherwise it would not have worked the first time around. Okay, so it's installed. System's a bit sluggish to start. Oh my god, we even have shading underneath the cursor. This is so fancy. Okay, but fair enough. Let me put the CD on the drive, and then we're gonna try to run the game. Hopefully, it's going to work. Oh yeah, I forgot to open Fraps. It's something I have. Well, I'm gonna tell you that running this on the TNT2 at 640 by 480 using OpenGL is as slow as running this game on the FX 5200 using Direct3D at 800 by 600. It's just as slow. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug my other thumb drive into here because I have Fraps 1.9. Fucking fine. Let's open this again. Let's open Half-Life again. And we're gonna load a game. Yeah, the FPS was already meant to be showing up there, but it's not. So we have either an issue with this operating system or we have an issue with the graphics card driver. I'm not quite sure. Why is it running like shit? No, really, it's actually running really well for a TNT2. I think that if we are going to have any kind of issue here, it's going to be an issue with... oh my god, that's so fucking badly made. I think we're gonna have an issue with these CPUs. So either an issue with the CPUs, or we're gonna have an issue with the graphics driver itself. So we're gonna test yet another card, and it's crashed again. So all beaten up and forgotten. At the end of the stash, we have an MX4000 that I'm gonna quickly clean up and install into the system. I think that these drivers are new enough to support this card natively, so I'm not gonna have to do anything with it. This is a 64 meg card. It's probably even 32-bit or something. It's abhorrently slow, if that even works. Something I've noticed with this motherboard, it actually has some kind of compatibility issue with Windows XP. That's the reason why I'm using Windows 2000 with this card. That's the reason why I'm using Windows 2000 with this motherboard. It's because it's got some kind of compatibility issue with Windows XP in it, and it causes CPU overhead. It causes slowdowns. It's a mess. Welcome to New Hardware Wizard. Yes, it's a GeForce 4. Good. But I think this is the lowest bidder ever. So we're probably gonna have to reboot the system now. Yay! I have been recording for over an hour. Again, this is the reason why I have this camera setup that I'm using. Because it makes my life so much easier. I can just record for all day long. I still have 3 hours of battery and 4 hours of SD card worth of recording time if I chose to do so. Plus I have, I don't know, another 2 or 3 hours worth of AA battery on my Zoom H1, which is recording out of the lav mic. Okay, so assumedly we have an MX4000 installed. Now we're going to open Half-Life, and I need a CD. I always forget to insert the CD. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try 800 by 600 using OpenGL. Because, yes, I did insert it. Come on. Yeah, same issue. It's running flawlessly. It's very quick. But there seems to be some kind of issue. As you can see, it's running pretty much pegged at 60 FPS, as it should be, because this graphics card should be plenty fast for a 1998 game. This is version 1.0 of Half-Life. There's no way a card wouldn't be able to run it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna switch this to D3D again, and let's see if it fixes anything. Yeah, so we have either a driver issue or a motherboard incompatibility issue. And I don't know if you could tell, but there's an obvious difference in the rendering between OpenGL and D3D. D3D is a bit blown out in terms of color and lighting. OpenGL is a bit more even. I really have no idea if you noticed it. But what I'm gonna do, and I think I have both versions of Half-Life, so bear with me for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open the other version of Half-Life that I have installed. This is the 2005 build of Half-Life, so as you can see the menu has been cut down quite a bit. I think this is still 800 by 600, it's already using OpenGL. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna open up the game and see how it runs. And as you can see, it runs flawlessly. So we've got an issue with that first version of Half-Life for some odd, bizarre reason. The beauty is I can actually Alt-Tab out of the game, probably. Yes. Open for apps. And we get an FPS counter. So you can see how the game's running. Again, this is 800 by 600. So here, it's all on the CPU. The entire low performance, relatively speaking, that you're seeing on this game is entirely because of the CPU. Imagine people playing this back in the day with the Pentium MMX 233 and 64 megabytes of RAM. This would be horrible. Ah! Okay, let's try that again. But yeah, it's running better than I would expect, because this is a newer version of Half-Life. So if I go ahead and do version, this is build 1, this is version 1.1.2.0, built on October the 3rd, 2005. And this is the version I've come to know of this game. This is the version I downloaded like 10 years ago off of the web, because I was poor and I could not purchase games whatsoever. I hadn't even heard of Half-Life ever. So yeah. But this version actually does have some differences. This version does not have the 3DFX driver. So to play this game using a 3DFX card, you have to go for the first releases. This is a 2005 version, of course. No one would be using 3DFX by that point. But here we are using 3DFX like 20 years later, so yeah. So all that it took was an MX4000 to play the game. I do believe I actually did run this. I do believe I actually did run Half-Life 2 on this computer, because we have enough RAM to do that. I think that 1 gigabyte is the lowest amount of RAM that you can play Half-Life on. If you try to play it with 512, you're just going to be using that page file all the time, which is not going to be good. As you can see, even loading through levels, it's actually quite fast. And the frame rate is quite decent, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we're getting pretty much 60 frames a second. Brilliant. So again, this is 800 by 600, and all of the every single time the frame rate dips below 60, it's the CPU's fault. Because again, this is a 1 gigahertz Pentium 3. And I can assure you that Half-Life is not a multi-threaded game. But again, 60 frames a second is pretty nice, actually. Just my mouse is just fucking me over. So there you go. This is Half-Life on 2 Pentium 3s. Again, this is something I've had for quite a number of years by this point. 2. That's good enough for me. And this was the best gift I ever received in my life, because it was my dream to play around with the Pentium 3. And finally I got the chance because of Ross Tregemba. So, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. Take care.